Day, May 2nd. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by the St. Johns River Water Management District. And now, starring in the new TV drama NCIS Tuscaloosa, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in to Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday, May 2nd. A busy hour ahead. It's that time of year. The draft is done. We'll take a look at the rookie class after the draft, after undrafted free agency as well. And the rookies come in next week. It's off-season program phase 2. That means coaches are on the field with the veterans starting this week. We'll keep it real, as we always do. Well, we'll do it at about 4:30. And then Microsoft questions from social media today. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, JP.
What's happening?
The NFL draft is over with, and now we start kind of phase 2 of free agency. You know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
Well, for example, all the teams, okay, they had holes to plug prior to the draft. Everybody wants to plug the holes so that they can go into the draft and say, hey, we want the best player available. But not everybody does that. Some teams do, some teams don't. But then now that the draft is passed, there's some holes that went unfilled. So each team is going to need to address them. And there are certain players that are going to end up being casualties after the draft. Take a look at Zay Jones, for example. And players will become available, and the Jaguars will have some opportunity at scooping some players up that could help them win this year.
We'll see what happens in the coming weeks.
We'll see.
Yeah,
you know, and I think probably what most teams will do, and I saw that the Kansas City Chiefs made a comment to this effect, that they wanted to get a look at their rookies, which was their drafted rookies and their undrafted rookies, before they decided to do anything further in free agency, which totally makes sense. And the Jaguars probably want to do something similar. But if an opportunity arises on a player that's got some value, that's a veteran, before that minicamp happens, which is next week, I believe, towards the end of next week, then, hey, look, you take advantage of the opportunity.
We'll go through the draft class coming up. A little bit later, we will get into that offseason program with the veterans on the field right now. But let's start with Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. After the draft, asked about what they were most excited from this draft class.
It's always an exciting time of year, right? You get a chance to get new guys into the system. I think 9 or 10, whatever that number is that we ended up with. You're excited. You're excited for them. When you talk to them on the phone and hear their excitement and the family's excitement and the backgrounds, they're coming here. They're going to give you everything they got, and that's all we can ask. And then we figure it out from there.
For me, a football team is made up of many parts, right? And I think this is a great example of the guys we got. There's different positions here. There's different body types, skill sets, all of that, and they're all guys that can come in and compete. And so that's what I'm excited about. And there's really good, starting from the top all the way down. There's talent here.
We'll find out starting next week, as you said, in the rookie mini camp. But all we have right now is tape and on paper. Let's start in round number 1. Wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. Tall, fast, and smart. It's a good place to start.
Tall, fast, and smart is right. I think you really got to begin with the fast part. You're talking about the second fastest 40 time by a wide receiver at the combine. I believe it was like a 4.33. Young man had 17 touchdown catches in the SEC in 1 year alone last year. I mean, tremendous. I mean, this is a guy that's going to make teams respect the top and going to have to cover the top on a play-by-play basis. So, but you really got to start with the trade. I mean, because if you don't start with the trade, then I think you're missing the point. Trent Baalke and his staff deserve a ton of credit for the trade that they were able to maneuver in the first round. You drop back only 6 spots. You go from 17 to 23. You pick up an extra 5th-round pick this year, and you pick up a 3rd and a 4th next year. That is an absolute fleecing. An absolute fleecing. I mean, it's got to be one of the best trades in recent years in the National Football League by far. So, I mean, tremendous job there. And look, Brian Thomas Jr., I think he deserves to be in the conversation. Put it this way. I would have taken him over Odunze. I mean, for me, I mean, that's where he belongs. I mean, this is an elite player that can take the top off the defense, 17 touchdown, over 17 yards a catch. And on top of that, you picked up a fifth and a third and a fourth next year. What's not to like about that? To me, tremendous job by Trent Baalke and his staff. Love the pick. Love the trade. Great job. And look, being a little selfish here, it made us work a little bit harder on Thursday night because we had to go longer with the radio show because they traded back 6 spots. Correct. I could have gotten home earlier.
Yeah, but you didn't. It's okay.
And I was totally okay with that once I saw what they got. I was like, oh, my God.
In
Great
theory,
job.
with this speed that we talk about, you have an over-the-top game now, and that opens up some things underneath at the very least,
well,
right?
And here's the thing, okay? Gabe, okay, your free agent wide receiver from Buffalo Bills, is not a take the top off of type of player, play in and play out on offense. But Gabe Davis is a guy that does a tremendous job of getting deep in a different way. He's creative. He's probably like a 4-5 somewhere. But Brian Thomas Jr. is a legit 4-3-3. I mean, so now you're having a big wide receiver in Gabe Davis that can get deep in creative ways, and then a guy that can flat out run. Both of them possess dominant size, dominant physical characteristics. And then you got a shifty guy in the middle running around in Christian Kirk, and then one of the best receiving tight ends in the game that will catch 100 balls in a year in Evan Ingram. I mean, Trevor's going to have a lot of options to throw. Now you just got to find the time. Give him the time to throw it.
Going into this draft, we heard a lot about cornerback high. Well, Terrion Arnold goes the next pick after Brian Thomas
I'm glad
Jr.
we didn't get him.
You sure?
I didn't like him.
Why not?
I liked Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama better. I thought he was a better mirror man-to-man type guy. Arnold had some of the physical traits, the length, the size, and all that kind of stuff. McKinstry's a little bit smaller. But I didn't see the get in the hip pocket and just not go away type of coverage that McKinstry has. I like the other two guys better. Cooper DeJean and help me out, the other guy from the small school Toledo.
Oh, yeah, Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyon Mitchell, thank you.
Yeah.
I like those two better. And Philadelphia, holy cow, they got both of those guys.
Yeah, right? It's a heck of
Wow.
a defense.
Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman every year just does a great job year in and year out at talent acquisition. And he is a pure best available player draft guy. That's all he does, best available player. But Jaguars, though, I mean, that's corner was a big conversation, and we thought that was going to be where they could go. And when they traded back, I went, something's not right. It made me go, And I think maybe they were thinking offensive line, but maybe their guy was gone, and they said, okay, well, maybe we can go back because there's two corners still left. Both of those guys were still available, and they maybe loved both of them. They could get one of the two. And then when they picked a wide receiver, I was like, wow, that's a good pick because I love Brian Thomas.
Let's move along to round number 2 now. The Jaguars stay in Baton Rouge and get defensive tackle Mason Smith. And he's got traits. He's got size, and he's tall, and he's got strength, and a lot of things positive about Mason. What do you like about him?
No doubt. He's got the traits. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's, they put on the sheet number there, we got 306. I don't think he's 306. He's probably about 280, 285-ish, somewhere in that range. But he's got the length, he's got the size, he's got an excellent swim move on the interior. He had an ACL back in 22, and then when you watch the film on him in 2023, there's a little bit missing from the film. I think that this is a traits pick, and I think this is a little bit of projecting forecasting. When you got a guy that has physical traits like that, I think they felt the need that they had to get him while they could. Did he have the production his senior year at LSU that would warrant a second-round pick? I would say no. And I still think he's got a long ways to go, but, I mean, he's got those measurables that are just hard to find. And he was coming back from an injury. So how good can he be? I don't know. We're going to see. But if you tried to match his production his last year at LSU with where he was drafted at, you would say it doesn't work. It doesn't jive. But again, you're forecasting, you're projecting guys. And so what I say, is he worthy of a second-round pick? My first reaction was no after watching the film. But then when you look at the traits that he has, then you go, this guy may end up turning out to be better than where he was picked at, because he has those measurables and also some of those traits.
And he's not going to be expected to start right away.
Where's he going to play?
Exactly. Right? So he'll contribute some and can develop over time and maybe build into
He's got to
something.
get healthy. You know, you could tell that he was favoring the knee a little bit in a lot of the games that he played last year at LSU. Mm-hmm. And he had the knee brace on it and everything there. And we were just showing on social media some of the video from him working out at LSU where he didn't have the knee brace on. So, look, I mean, 2 years removed from an ACL, you're dramatically different than you are the first year back from it. It's still kind of a process that you go through. I've been through it. And you don't feel normal really until you get to about 18 months, you know, and he was playing last year with the knee brace well before 18 months. But he's got the traits. I mean, and what I like about him, he's a hard worker. He's got a great reputation of work ethic. So that won't be a problem with him. In fact, I would say this about all of the draft picks. Everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm hearing from different folks, this draft class is all character guys. Character guys that you're, you know, because I mean, you're talking about culture building with adding players to this roster. And I think that those are all the right types of players to build a culture with.
We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We continue with the rookie class review, and then the third-round cornerback Jarian Jones from Florida State.
Jarian.
And after the draft, Doug Peterson said, yeah, he's a nickel corner and a special teams contributor. Those will be, I guess, the expectations coming in initially.
Well, I mean, as a third-round pick, I mean, you'd like to see more than that for expectation, right? I mean, for me, I mean, third-round pick, you're typically getting a starting caliber player. Now, do they have to develop into that? Maybe. Watching the film on him, he's very active. He at times he's physical and he tackles well. Sometimes he doesn't tackle well, and I think that's one of the first things he'd probably tell you, that he wants to tackle better. But he's got ball skills. He's physical at times. He does a good job of zone, same kind of thing in man coverage, does a good job coming off the outside, blitzing, and as we just saw right there, doesn't shy away from physical contact. I think he just needs to get better at tackling. When you play nickel, you've got to be a good tackler. You know, you're close to that running game and you're around a lot of the action, and I think that will come with time.
Aaron Colvin said one
He's
time,
a dog.
Yeah, you got to have that dog in you. That's what he said.
Did you see or hear the reaction of him on the phone on Jaguars.com? Coach, you got a dog.
I love that.
I love it. It was awesome. By the way, Jaguars.com, kudos to them for the coverage that they provided on the draft. It was awesome.
Let's get a couple more in before the break. In the fourth round, the Jaguars get Javon Foster, tackle out of Missouri, a consistent starter, team captain for the Missouri Tigers, and a guy who's played a lot of football.
Love to see. Okay, that's first and foremost. You love it when you draft a 6'5", 315-pound guy, and he's got the C on his chest. And like you said, played a lot of football. I don't know exactly how many games he started. I could probably find it in a pretty quick minute.
It's
here,
a bunch consistently too.
But yeah, I mean, he's and I think that, you know, look, the Jaguars definitely have a need there. You've got a couple guys that are going to be contracts are going to be expiring at the end of the year. I think you know, the positives about him: he's got the size, he's got the athleticism, he's got pretty good hands, he's got pretty good feet. The negatives: he's got to have a little bit more consistency. You know, consistency with the hands, consistency with the feet. And because, I mean, that's the traits of professionals. They're good every week, play in and play out. And that's the challenge for young players making the move from college to pros. And that's going to be something that he's going to have to really pay attention to, is that detail.
One more in the fourth round. Couple picks later, back to Baton Rouge again. Some scout in Baton Rouge ate well at Mike Anderson's, apparently, because they brought home 3 LSU players. Jordan Jefferson, the defensive tackle, who was a transfer in, was at West Virginia, came to Baton Rouge for his final year of college football. He is a true nose tackle. He put up 37 reps on the bench press at the combine, by the way.
He's a little bit strong.
I think.
A little bit. My question with this pick, how's Javon Hamilton doing?
It's a great question, right? Or is this the insurance policy?
I don't know. Last year Javon Hamilton had the back issue, wasn't able to play, and Jordan Jefferson is a defensive tackle type that plays into that area that Javon Hamilton does. Are they worried about Javon Hamilton, or they look too good to pass up type of player? He's big, he's physical, he's got a really good first step, he's got a very strong upper body. He needs more production when it comes to affecting the passer, but that's not really where he's at. That's not his role. But when they made this pick, I was like, So you drafted a second-round pick, defensive tackle, who's kind of a longer guy, Mason Smith, that could probably take some snaps at defensive end. And then you turn around and you draft Jordan Jefferson in the 4th round. So is everything okay with Javon Hamilton?
Well,
just thinking out loud.
Here's another thought on that, right? If they're going to more true 4-man fronts, at some point you need more bodies for that, right?
Not really.
No?
No.
Think they got enough already?
No, I mean, look, you're playing a 3-4, so you got 3 big bodies. Mm-hmm. What you would need more of is edge players. Okay, because you're really playing with 3 big guys already. Now you're kind of playing with only 2.
Okay.
So it's kind of the opposite of what you would think. It's a little different there. So I'm not saying it's a bad move because, again, I'm a best available player. If Jordan Jefferson is at the top of your list, you take him. I don't care if you've got, all pro guys already there, which you don't, by the way. But if you did, so what? Look what the Eagles did. Last year when they drafted that big defensive tackle from Georgia, They had tackles. They didn't need tackles, but they drafted best available player. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's something with Javon Hamilton. We won't know until we know.
We're back in a moment. We'll get into the rest of the draft picks on the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. And yes, phase 2 of the offseason program is underway. What that means and much more coming up. It's Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
I'm John Davis, Secretary of the Florida Lottery, and I'm proud to lead an agency that is creating brighter futures for Florida students, families, and communities. As the primary funding source of the Bright Future Scholarship Program, the lottery has helped nearly 1 million students reach their dream of a post-secondary education. And we will continue to do our part to ensure that every student across this state is aware of these opportunities and has the resources needed to succeed. Because together, we can build a brighter future for all.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, Advantage You. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Don't get sacked by a no-name propane rookie at Jacksonville. Draft an all-star and switch to AmeriGas, the official propane provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the homes and businesses who know it was always the Jags. Show off your Duval pride at your next tailgate with a Jaguars grill tank from AmeriGas. To find an AmeriGas exchange location near you or to order a propane fill-up for your home or business, visit AmeriGas.com/Jacksonville-Jaguars or call 844-PRO-JAGS.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
We are in an age where picking wide receiver, even over something is what we would thought as pivotal as offensive tackle or offensive line in general, it is more common because we are seeing such superstars come out from the receiver position. And I think that goes all the way down to the grassroots level, right? You're seeing more 7-on-7 camps. You know, these guys are getting involved in skill position work way earlier in junior high and high school. And you're just developing more wide receivers nowadays. So there's just a ton of these great skill position players that are coming through year after year.
That's Trevor Sickham of Pro Football Focus, a guest on Jags AM Tuesday morning. That was on Jaguars.com and Jags YouTube. The archives available there and the audio on the official Jaguars podcast network. Always good to hear from Trevor. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Phase 2 of the offseason program underway. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But we continue with the recap of the draft class in 2024. We've gone through rounds 1 through 4. We continue now, Logs, with round 5, a couple of picks, starting with cornerback DeAndre Prince out of Ole Miss. He grew up about an hour away in the tiny town of Charleston on the east. Yes, yes, very much.
It's country.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. And he is the first ever draft pick from that area and that town especially. There's been a few players undrafted to come from that specific area of Mississippi. But went right up the road, was at Ole Miss, had to leave to go to a community college and grow up a little bit, as he put it.
Yeah.
And he did.
He was very honest about it.
And he came back to Ole Miss and was part of a really good team.
And he was very honest about the part that he needed to grow up. And so took a little bit of a break, went to the community college for a year, comes back, and has a very good career. I like this pick. Trey is kind of what he goes by. And I think he's got some traits to where he can play some serious man coverage. And he's got some length to him. I like that. He's a willing competitor. I think this is a very good pick for this football team. You know, you addressed the position with Jarian.
Yep,
I think it's the right way to say that. With Jarian in the 3rd, and now you looked at this position again in the 5th, and it's obvious a position of need. So I think that they did a good job there and allowing, that they use this term a lot, would allow the board to speak to you.
Yeah.
So,
listen to the board. That's all you got to do.
I like this pick. I think it's a good pick, and I'm excited to watch him because I really believe that he's got some really good man coverage skill traits.
Another speed guy, too. I mean, he can run.
Oh, he can run.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can run. I think,
which is fine in a straight line, but okay,
how many picks have the Jaguars had at the corner position in the last 2 years from like round 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah,
been a few of them.
A lot.
And you're hoping you hit on something, and I'm not willing to bet on it, but I mean I like the traits that this young man has.
Gambling's illegal at Bushwood, sir. Can't
Bushwood.
do that. and I never slice. Keelan Robinson, another fifth-round pick, running back out of Texas, but a kick returner.
He's not a running back.
He is a running back. He's 5'8", 191.
He is not a running back.
He was listed as a running back. He started at Alabama, opted out of the COVID season 2020, transferred to Texas in 2021, and was primarily the kick returner. And with the new rules now, with 2 kick returners on the field, he'll have a chance.
So you're saying he's a kick returner?
Yeah.
Because he's not a running back.
Oh, he's not? Okay. Is that what you're saying? Why not?
Yeah, I would definitely, and I'm being serious here, I would not put him in the category of being a running back. You know, when he was at Texas, he did a lot of these gadget plays, speed reverse, quick screens, but he's not a running back. I mean, he probably had the ball handed off to him very few times at Texas.
Kind of like these, he's not an I formation handed off and run. He's kind of a jet sweep, run wide type.
He's not going to take reps away from Etienne or Bigsby. But I think that he can play a role similar to Aggs, to what Jamal Agnew did for this football team, and then also provide them another strong kick returner on top of the one that they signed in free agency from Baltimore. And everybody's talking about how the new kickoff rules are going to affect the game and how many returners you're going to have back there. Everybody's saying, well, you're going to have 2 back deep. And if that's the case, then I think that Keelan could have an opportunity at finding himself active on game day if he can play that type of role and play gunner on special teams. I mean, the guy's a 4-4 guy. I mean, so he can clearly run. When he gets in space with the ball in his hands, he can roll. He can roll. I mean, roll. But if he's in traffic, he gets swallowed up. That's why I say I wouldn't put him in the category of being a running back.
We stay on special teams. The Jaguars in round 6 pick up kicker Cam Little out of Arkansas, and he can't even celebrate with a cold beer because he's 20 years old. How about that? But he's made some big kicks, some distance kicks in his career, and here he is.
All you got to do is get a fake ID like I had in college. Here goes gold. I'm sure he had a cold beer or had maybe some way of celebrating. But,
whatever, man.
He's pretty confident.
I'd say. Did you listen to his phone call?
Oh, he crushed it. He crushed his workouts. I like the confidence. But just be a little humble when you talk. But that part of that comes from being 20 years old, and you still got to learn a little bit.
Well, but he makes all his kicks, and doesn't matter.
If he makes all his kicks, he can say, "I'm all for him talking confident game."
Come on, I'd rather him hear that than the alternative. But I'm not so sure.
He's about to get an education. Because at this level, kickers can be replaced very quickly.
We found that out, yes.
Very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that he will not be the only kicker on this roster in training camp.
Riley Patterson's there now. Sly is gone, and it looks like he's going to go with the Patriots. So that was after the draft.
And Riley Patterson's a good kicker.
So we'll see.
Be ready to battle.
But, this guy's a draft
ready to
pick.
compete.
He's a draft pick. You don't draft a kicker and then whack the kicker, right?
JT,
usually, you got to make the kicks.
Kickers get whacked if they don't make kicks.
What was the last drafted kicker?
I don't care if they were a third-round pick. Okay, go talk to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Didn't they draft a kicker pretty high? How long did he last? What was the guy's name?
I know what you're talking about. You have a point.
Florida State guy.
Doesn't matter where you're drafted.
No. If you're a kicker, you got to make the kicks.
Let's make the kicks.
If you don't make the kicks, and if you're a draft pick, you'll get a little leeway.
And accuracy on kickoffs is, yes, it was key before, but you could boom it out of the end zone, fine. Now you have to hit between the 20 and goal line.
But look,
all the time.
Can I honestly say, boy, I really studied the film on this Cam Little? No.
Just look at the stats.
No, but I'm looking forward to watching them because, with the new kickoff rules, there's a lot of unknowns in that category this year.
Oh, yeah.
How are the kicks going to be handled? I don't know.
Can you place it? How do you cover it? Because you're not running towards it. You got to wait till it hit. It's a whole thing.
Right. So there's a lot of unknowns in that category. Yeah. So let's kind of see what happens there.
One more draft pick, round 7, Texas Tech defensive end Miles Cole. What do you think?
I like him. I really do.
Why?
I don't very often get excited about 7th-round picks.
Who does?
Right? kind of excited about Miles Cole.
Why? Like, why are you so excited about a seventh-round pick?
He's athletic. He's, when you always hear Trent and scouts always talk about traits. Miles Cole, 6'6", 270 pounds, 75 pounds, somewhere in that range. He moves well. He's athletic. I mean, there's not very many 6'6", 275 guys that were starters that can move and are athletic that get drafted late like that. I mean, most of it's a premium position. When I watch the film on this guy, I see a guy that's got a chance. I'm not saying that he's great, but he's got a nice way of bending the corner. Look, I'm not saying that he's athletically in the category of a second-round pick and somehow he was available in round 7.
No.
I'm just saying for round 7 to get a guy that has some traits that are productive and encouraging.
And maybe something develops off that in time. It may not be immediate, but okay, this is something for the future. If he doesn't make the team, he's a practice squad.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. All the above. But again, I don't want people to think, Lageman really thinks that they got a great player in round 7. He's probably a second-round value. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I like the pick for where he was picked at. And I like some of his athleticism. He definitely has the length and the traits of a guy that you want to find for that position, which is defensive end. 6'6", 275. Dude, this is going to be a team. If you talk about get off the bus team.
Oh, yeah.
Mason Smith, Josh Allen, big dude, Trayvon, big dude, Devon Hamilton, Jordan Jefferson. They get off the bus, and you're going to go, ho. Better buckle up this chin strap a little bit tighter.
A little bit later, we'll touch on the undrafted free agents.
And the get off the bus team is undefeated.
Those guys are really good. They really are. We're back in a moment. We'll take a look at the offseason program, continuing to phase number 2, and hear from left tackle Cam Robinson. The Jaguars are celebrating their 30th season, and the time to get those season ticket memberships, well, it's right now. Be at the bank for every touchdown. Secure your seats at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, Advantage You. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Over 40 years ago, I made a decision to help people. Might sound simple, but following your passion never is. Big ideas tend to get bigger. What started out as one lawyer's vision is now a team of over 400 with an obsession. Today, protecting you and your family is more than a job. It's a way of life. Over 40 years ago, we set out to build a law firm. It's clear now that what we've built is so much more. I'm Eddie Farah, Jacksonville.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the first pick in the 2024 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and underground utility contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked number one?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing or septic issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to get the job done right. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
This is chemistry. This is as simple as that. It's the same 5 guys playing together, down in and down out, just getting those reps. I mean, it's kind of hard to, that kind of gets lost in the, people don't realize how much up front you really got to be a unit. So, I mean, if we're interchanging guys in and out, or there's never any inconsistency about, if there's never any consistency about what we're doing, it's going to be hard to kind of form that bond and just all of us working as one. So the same 5 guys, getting these reps can't even put it's invaluable.
It's Cam Robinson, Jaguars left tackle. I caught up with him earlier this week here at the Miller Electric Center. The full conversation at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Jaguars Happy Hour continues, brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. By the way, Cam Robinson, new father, has a 2-month-old at home.
Congrats to him.
He said the first month was rough with little sleep, but he's learned a lot of patience.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of patience with kids. But congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
It will change your perspective on life, I can tell you that.
And he's obviously a big piece of what's going on here.
Interesting
big
how
contract.
he talked about, the 5 guys and consistency and all that kind of stuff. But,
they didn't have it last year.
Well, look, true.
He was part of it. He missed 8 games last year.
Yeah, and that was his fault.
The first 4, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. His fault. Nobody to look at but himself on the first 4 games of last year. But there's also, remember, in that consistency is not the only solution to better performance. Sometimes it's getting better players. If you get better players, then you get better performances across the board, not just necessarily time spent on task together.
All right, that gets us into our Keep It Real segment. Insert sponsor here.
Mm-hmm.
After free agency.
Well, you don't have that sold yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's wide open. It's available.
I thought you would have that sold by now.
If you'd like to keep it real with us, we can be in touch.
I think we need to find somebody.
I think so.
Yeah.
We can work on
call 1-800-JP Shadrick.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to the JP Shadrick Fund. Let's keep it real now. After free agency and the draft, what is this Jaguars roster lacking? What do they need to fill, or can they roll the ball out now and play, in your opinion?
I think you structured this segment you had Cam Robinson talking offensive line. This is very nice, JP.
Thank you.
Very sneaky.
Thank you. Sponsors would love that.
Because I'm a big believer in that competition makes everybody better. Okay, you brought in competition at center. Okay, do you have enough competition with the rest of your offensive line? Look, you drafted a guy from Missouri in the 4th round that's going to possibly provide competition at tackle down the road. I think it would be tough for him to compete. I believe there's got to be some competition at guard. Now, can some of that come from last year's draft picks?
Maybe.
We'll see.
Here's the top 4 right now. Ezra Cleveland.
Re-signed. Top 4 what?
The guards, right?
Okay.
Cleveland's left guard. Brandon Sheriff's the right guard.
Mm-hmm.
Shatley's back on a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Hodges coming off
That's where I'm hoping
knee
the
injury.
Competition comes from.
So that's the question.
How's the knee?
Right.
Have you seen him work out yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay, I'd like to see him work out.
I think at some point during OTAs we'll be allowed out there to see it.
Watching him last year in training camp before he had the knee issue, it was one of those things where you go, this guy's going to create competition pretty quicker than we thought. I mean, he's got some really, really amazing strength to his game. Can he provide that competition in there? I don't know. I don't know where he's at. We're not privy to that information.
Yeah.
So my first reaction after this draft is that, at the conclusion of last year, my thought was that this team needs to get more physical on the defensive line and on the offensive line. I like what they did in the draft and addressing that. Okay. Offensive line, you have one draft pick, but did you do enough? I don't know. First of all, I love the re-signing of Ezra Cleveland. A lot of people I think fans were kind of just pushing that aside as not a big deal. When Ezra Cleveland was healthy last year, he's a damn good football player. And I'm telling you, he's physical. And he's nasty. He's my kind of player. I like the way he plays the game. Love the way he plays the game. So I think he's going to help this offensive line. But you got to have competition at center spot, which you hope that the signing of the center, Mitch, will help at that position, and then right guard with Sheriff. You hope that you got some competition there from Cooper Hodges, or bringing a guy in. Again, this is the second phase of free agency that we're now entering, and there will be slight adjustments and tweaks to rosters around the National Football League, and there will be guys that come available. So you've got to be ready to react and to maybe supplement your roster when the opportunity is given. And I'm a believer that that's a position, if they can get better at guard, interior of the offensive line, in free agency, in the second kind of phase of it, you take advantage of it.
But they just extended Sheriff, or redid this money over the years,
exactly.
right?
I wouldn't call it an extension.
But they added some time to it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between adding time and then restructuring a contract, adding time to essentially make the cap hit less. Is it kicking the can down the road? Put it this way, you could probably still cut him after this year without any kind of major financial consequences or anything that would make you worry. And I like Brandon Sheriff, but he's got to be more physical. He's got to be more physical. The offensive line's got to be more physical as a whole. I think the attitude and the approach has got to be more physical. And I think they will be. So
you don't think, no matter what happens, if they sign somebody else, whatever, the Cleveland and Sheriff are not guaranteed to start?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Look, that's why you have competition. You want everybody to get better.
But if you're paying all this money to these guys, they got to start, right?
Well, I mean,
that's the other argument.
JP, if a guy comes in and he's making $100,000 a year, which, by the way, there's nobody in the NFL that's making $100,000 a year.
The minimum's what, $750 now?
And it's like $780 now, I think. Okay, so nobody's making a buck or $1.50. Everybody's making good money, really good money. So if somebody comes in and he's making $1.50 and he's better than the guy that's making $1.650, okay, or however you want to call that, 1.6 million or 16 million, I don't care. If he's better, you play him. If he's better, you play him. And Mitch Morris is going to be the starting center this year.
What if Fortner's better?
I'm not buying that.
What if Fortner's better than him?
Well, good.
To your argument.
Let's go. Well, compete.
Then we're signing all these guys for what?
I'm all for it. Compete. But, I mean, do we have co-starters
Ezra
now?
Cleveland's getting $8 million a year, average.
Ezra Cleveland's a good football player, like I said earlier.
He's playing then.
Mitch Morris is going to be playing.
He's playing too. So is Sheriff.
Don't we have co-starters like right now?
I don't know. I haven't seen a depth chart. I have no idea.
There is no depth chart.
Who knows? It's, they're all offensive linemen. I don't
Mitch
know.
Morris was brought in here to start.
Right.
To be the starting center.
So I think we kept it real there. You want to see more guard competition?
I want to see competition, period. Across the board. You get better. The old saying? Iron sharpens iron. JP, you ought to know about that. You come from the Iron State where they have the Iron Bowl.
They do. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
That was a famous statement by the head coach of the University of Virginia, George Walsh.
It was also Doug
Everybody said
Marone,
that.
too. Yeah,
Everybody
I've heard
said
that a million times.
Everybody said that.
Hey, we're back in a moment. We've got social media questions. That was Keeping It Real. Insert sponsor here. Back in a moment on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, Advantage You. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Don't get sacked by a no-name propane rookie at Jacksonville. Draft an all-star and switch to AmeriGas, the official propane provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the homes and businesses who know it was always the Jags. Show off your Duval pride at your next tailgate with a Jaguars grill tank from AmeriGas. To find an AmeriGas exchange location near you or to order a propane fill-up for your home or business, visit AmeriGas.com/Jacksonville-Jaguars or call 844-PRO-JAGS.
Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We're on 1010 AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Glad you're with us. After the draft, phase 2, the offseason program is underway, Logs. So that means coaches are on the field for the first time. They are allowed on the field 3 weeks, 4 days per week, 4 hours per day. The club can only specify 2 of those hours, 90 minutes maximum on the field. And as we said, all coaches can be out there, but it's a walk-through pace. No helmets, unless you're using the jugs machine, the machine that throws the footballs at you. You can elect to wear your helmet while you're using that. No offense versus defense. No one-on-ones. Individual periods are allowed. So, them's the rules.
And that's from page 32-81B.
Yeah, pretty much. Digging deep there.
Yeah, it's unfortunately they had to put all these rules in place because there was head coaches out there like Tom Coughlin that would always want to end up doing a whole bunch of stuff. Tom, it's true.
And you're the one that had to go check him on it all the time. Right?
No, I didn't have to go check him on it. He once the rules were established, then he abided by the rules. But before the rules were established, he liked to be a little flexible. When the rules weren't specifically written, then he would be creative.
Like you just said, good last segment, right? Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
Come on,
right.
Rogs. 12 months
right.
a year.
But it's I think if you're a player in the National Football League, because, there's not every team in the league has great attendance for the off-season workouts. And this team has, from what I understand, pretty strong attendance, as they should. I mean, this is a tax-free state to live in. It's an absolutely beautiful place to live. The facility here is top-notch, as good as Alabama, right? I mean,
it's nice. It's real nice.
It is amazing. And on top of that, if you get hurt, then it's on the job and not somewhere else where it would be considered a non-football injury if you're training on your own. So when players train on their own, look, I get it. Some guys have a certain mojo that they feel like they need to kind of build up in the off season, and everybody's got a great way of doing things. But, man, the more time you can spend at the team facility, the better off you're going to be, I think, in the long term. But this is a great time of year to be a player because everybody's happy, everybody's positive, you're undefeated, and you're going to win a bunch of games.
And it's the first chance to be on the field with a new defensive coaching staff as well.
Yeah, it's a great chance to learn. Coaches are going to probably develop a little bit of preconceived ideas about certain players out there on the grass. They're really not doing anything. But then once the pads go on, perspectives change. So you got to kind of wait until you get to that if you're a new coach. But you want to see how the players digest it. You want to see how they assimilate the information. And the faster that they do, I think the better off that they're going to be and the freer that they're going to be able to play.
Let's get to our Microsoft questions of the day.
What do you got?
We put the cat signal out earlier today on X. Here's the best we've come up with. At D. Osterman05, do you think we have any defensive linemen that we could get? Excuse me. Let me start again. Do you think
I love it when you mess up.
Man, that was awful.
Because you never do.
It's just reading. It's tough sometimes.
Do you want me to read it?
Go for it.
Okay. Do you think we have any defensive linemen that can become the Stroud and Henderson duo?
Great question.
Do we have a duo? Well, first of all, those two guys were first-round picks and separated by like a year or a couple years?
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't have that. Eric Anderson is a 10-year vet.
Armstead. Eric Armstead.
Armstead, what'd I say?
Anderson.
Excuse me.
I'm sure he's good, too.
Armstead is a 10-year vet, and we've got a young player from LSU that's going to be coming in the door and hopefully contributing some reps in there. And can they be that? It's not very often that you have a Stroud and a Henderson come along.
Mm-mm.
I mean, think about it. How many teams have had something like that? The Buffalo Bills with the two defensive tackles, one of them from Alabama who came
Darius?
here.
Yeah,
Marcel Darius and
a couple guys.
What was the other guy's name?
They were good.
Gosh, he was amazing.
They were really good.
And then the Baltimore Ravens back in the day when it was Siragusa and Sam Adams. I mean, you just don't find that where you've got two dominant guys on the inside very often.
Siragusa. Now that was a fun player to watch.
Him and Sam Adams, oh my God.
His helmet was hanging on for dear life.
The great Siragusa?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Both of them.
It's unbelievable.
It's like, how'd you squeeze that face all in that helmet?
It's impossible today. My gosh.
He's a really good player. Really good. But it's just not very often that you get players of that stature. I mean, you look back in Jaguars history, and that was one of the special tandems in Jaguars history. I mean, you think of the great tandems in Jaguars history.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there at the top.
Stroud Henderson.
They're right there at the top.
Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell.
I mean, I'd give you 2017 defense had a couple of those guys.
Baselli Searcy, the tackle tandem,
Mm-hmm.
for how long it lasted. I mean, that's greatness.
And you got to have, and you would know this, you played defensive line. You got to be wired a little bit different at times on defensive line. Sometimes. Some of those guys are wired a little bit different. Big John,
Stroud, first of all, Henderson was totally wired differently.
Absolutely.
Anybody that gets ready for the ball game to have the athletic trainer Joe Sheehan totally open hand slap them like you're doing that Dana White new league that they have, which is like a slap competition.
That's right.
I mean, Joe used to hammer them.
Yeah.
Whack. Would you do that?
I mean, if he asked me to, maybe.
Maybe pre-show? You want
me to start slapping you? Is that what you want?
No. You want me to slap?
Let me slap you around a little bit?
You want me to slap you
trying to
next
say?
week?
You want some of this? Next question at Shakes346. What's the positional?
Sure you don't want me to read it?
I got it. What's the positional flexibility of Javon Foster and Mason Smith? Can Foster be a guard? And can Smith play big end and short yardage? Let's start on the offensive line. Foster. He feels like a tackle. He's a true tackle to me.
Yeah, and that's where he's played at. Could he play guard? I don't know. He hasn't done it that I know of.
I mean, how many have, right? I mean, we talked about that possibility last year with Cam Robinson, right?
I think you're going to try. I think you would try him inside. But there's kind of two mindsets with rookies. One is that you say, hey, he's not going to be a starter. The only way that we're going to get him active on game day is that he has to learn multiple positions. So we're just going to play him in multiple positions. The other mindset is that, hey, he's a rookie. Let's not confuse him. Let's let him concentrate on one position so that his world is simplified. So,
but if he's got the high football IQ they always want,
then maybe he can handle it. And I think every individual is different. Yeah. So I think that will be an evaluation process. You always want to be able to cross-train everybody because flexibility, versatility is always a great trait to have, and it gets you active on game day. You know, if you got a guy that can play tackle, and guard, I mean, huge value as a backup. So we'll see how that works out. The other question.
Mason Smith, big end. Could he play there?
Could he play there? Yes.
Okay.
He's got some of those traits to do that, just like Eric Armstead. Eric Armstead could play defensive tackle and then big end, and I think without having any issues whatsoever.
Next question at bmarlow17. Which of the undrafted free agents could see the most playing time this season? Well, the Jaguars signed a handful of players coming out of the draft.
Ask me next week on that.
Yeah, we'll find out after rookie minicamp, maybe, right?
Well, no, I'm going to watch the film on the undrafted guys. This week I watched all the draft picks. So next week I will watch the undrafted guys prior to Thursday. And so I'll give you some names, and we'll go over a couple guys that I really like out of the undrafted class.
13 of them.
You always have a couple guys that have an opportunity, especially at positions of need of making an impact.
Well, I'll say this, and no disrespect to these players, but this is what this position is. As an undrafted player, you're fighting to make the roster, first of all.
Well,
right? Or a practice squad.
Yes.
And be available. Consistent playing time. There's other guys that are veteran players who are around you're expecting to play these positions. And in reality, if a lot of those players aren't around, it's not a good reason. They're hurt or something's happened.
Well, the undrafted guys, I think, have a little bit of an advantage over maybe a seventh-round pick. In this year's case, I think it's a little bit different in that I think you've got a need for depth at edge. So I think that Miles Cole has a legitimate chance of, earning an opportunity to get a spot on this roster. Undrafted guys are typically filling some holes. Okay, well, you know what? We drafted best available player. We didn't get this position and this position. So you go to the undrafted class and you start offering a little bit more money and telling these guys, hey, look, we got a great opportunity for you to earn a roster spot at position X because we're a little light there.
Right.
So Stephen Jones from Oregon, not Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys ownership group. Okay, they guard. We were just talking about an opportunity for this team to maybe create some competition at that spot. Well, there's Stephen Jones from Oregon. Okay, he's got a great opportunity to come in here and maybe show something. There's a lot of wide receivers in this group.
Yeah, there are. Of course.
There's a lot of wide receivers in this group.
Yep.
Tight end Sean Bowman from Rutgers. We got a pretty deep tight end room.
Too.
Got a pretty deep tight end room. Running backs pretty deep too. Defensive back Josh Proctor. And Josh Proctor plays some outside corner. That's a position of need for this football team. So it will be interesting. And the wide receivers, there's a bunch of them. They've got 6 undrafted free agent wide receivers.
It's a lot.
Coming into rookie mini camp next week.
It's a lot. That'll do it for our Microsoft questions for the day. Thanks for all the submissions. Logs, we'll talk to you next time. Great to see you.
Looking forward to it, and I will be ready to slap you before the show next week.
I will knock you on. Yeah, never mind. That's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to David Cho, Brent Reber, and Joe Fortunato, and thanks to you for listening and watching. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.